Two kidnapping victims have been rescued in Gauteng. The two males, a 64-year-old and a 32-year-old, were rescued during the latest operation by the police's elite special task force. The operation is aimed at cracking down on kidnappings in Benoni. Joining us for more, this is Police Spokesperson Brigadier Athlenda Mathe. Brigadier, good evening and thank you very much for joining us on The Full View. So you released a statement on your latest operation, which saw the two individuals being rescued at an informal settlement in Crystal Park. Just talk to us about this particular operation.
Well, a very good evening and thank you for the opportunity. Let's firstly congratulate our members for working on this particular case with speed. We received this case on Sunday afternoon, and by Monday afternoon, this team was able to intercept the syndicate behind this kidnapping, and they were able to ensure that the two victims, the two businessmen that had been kidnapped, were found safe, unharmed and alive, and they have been reunited with their families. So in the SAPS, we have dedicated teams that are in place in each province that are there to prevent, combat and intercept these syndicates that are behind a spate of kidnappings, especially where ransom demands are being made.
Mm-hmm. And how many suspects have been apprehended for this specific matter?
Well, in this specific matter, once our team intercepted this particular syndicate, there was a shootout. One kidnapper was shot and killed. One was wounded and taken to hospital. He is under police guard in hospital. 4 have been arrested. But in the last 2 years, we have managed to apprehend more than 250 kidnappers in the country, ranging from South African criminals. Some are Mozambicans, some are Somalians, Pakistanis, and we also do have Zimbabweans that are forming part of these syndicates. And what is quite encouraging is that from January to date in Gauteng alone, we have been able to rescue 15 businessmen and about 6 students. Some of them, 2 of them were found in Brig in Northwest. 4 of them were rescued in Mpumalanga after they were kidnapped. And I think it's quite important to note that in all these incidents, no ransom payment was made, and that talks to the direct as a result of expertise within the SAPS, competent members that we have, the capabilities of our specialized units, which includes your counterintelligence, your detectives, as well as hostage negotiators. And that is why it's important to urge our communities, as soon as a kidnapping where ransom demands are being made comes to your attention, if a friend or a relative is involved or kidnapped, it is important to notify your nearest police station, open a case, call the Crime Stop hotline number 0800 10 111. We do have the necessary expertise to intercept these syndicates.
Mm-hmm. So contrary to what is mostly demanded by these kidnappers to say, do not involve the police, we will kill your loved ones, you're saying rush to the police station, because it's evident now with the release of these and the number of operations that you've intercepted that the police are fully capable to do this.
That is the modus operandi that is utilized by these kidnappers. They utilize fear tactics to instill fear in the families and relatives of these victims. So we do urge communities to immediately notify the SAPS. We have dedicated teams. We've got highly competent and trained hostage negotiators that will be able to guide families on how to respond to these particular kidnappers. But most importantly, while that process happens, our teams, counterintelligence, our detectives will be at the same time tracing and intercepting these syndicates to ensure that we take them down, we apprehend them, but most importantly, that we find victims alive and unharmed. Mm-hmm. Because once families and relatives start negotiating directly with these kidnappers, it's not guaranteed that you will find your friend, your relative alive. So once it comes to your attention, immediately report it to us, and we will immediately assemble the necessary dedicated teams.
Mm-hmm. Brigadier, are you seeing a pattern in the profile of the victims? Who would ordinarily be targeted by these syndicates?
What we are picking up is that the target is wealthy business people. And people from wealthy families and so on. So it tells you that there is a lot of research that goes into and planning into what these kidnappers, into their targets and so on. But we are also seeing copycat groupings where they identify targets at a mall or any other open space. They take a chance, they kidnap them, they demand their bank PIN cards, they demand to withdraw large sums of money, usually the daily limit of a victim, and then thereafter release. So we are working closely with all stakeholders, and I think communities can play a major role. They play a pivotal role in alerting us to suspicious activities in their communities so that we are able to intercept these syndicates.